FC Neo Tokyo said Chicago is going to turn out to be the best, but you can't see it yet. Okay, we don't have the vision. Okay. That's the problem.
Damn. Why don't you give us an example?
Let's get to what the title is about. We have to talk about some of these incredible signings in Major League Soccer. The huge names, right? You know, a lot of people make the complaint about, you know, retirement league this and retirement league that. But I'll be honest, I'm excited about some of these, you know, what quote unquote older players arriving to the league, like Shaqiri, Douglas Costa,
Insigne.
I'm even if it's for at least like let me see how these guys get cooked by MLS players. Even for that, if you could not get cooked, then I'm like, all right, they still got it, they good. But if they get cooked, I'm almost like a little bit happier. I'm like, oh
you
yeah,
think they're gonna get the Blaze Matuidi, the Blaze Matuidi,
you know,
reaction.
Even
I think here's the thing. I get that it's like a negative that it's a retirement league, right? And even though that concept has sort of gone away a little bit, you know what I mean? It's become much more of a selling league. We're developing incredible young players. There's players right now that are training and trialing with European clubs that have never even stepped foot in MLS, but we developed in our academy. So these things are going away. But I do like that a part of the league is also these superstars that come in here that you never know. Like, I don't expect a lot from Douglas Costa. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot from Insigne. I'm expecting a lot from Shaqiri. I like that. I like the fact that we get to see these players play in our country. They're not of retirement age. Yeah, maybe Douglas Costa is a little bit up there, but Insigne is currently the captain of Napoli.
Douglas Costa is 31? 31 years old.
I thought he was older.
No.
Is he?
He's a young man.
Damn. He look older.
So okay. As far as what expectations, you know, for me, so let's compare these three names, right? Shaqiri, Douglas Costa, and Insigne. Obviously, you know, who do we think has the best return there? I would say Insigne, but between Shaqiri and Costa,
who's walking into the best team? Let's start there. Who's walking currently into the best situation, I will call it?
Good question.
Chicago?
Worst has to be Chicago. They haven't made the playoffs in several years.
You know what, though? I don't know, because Chicago has used the last season to, like, start to, like, retool, whereas Toronto has had to do that in the offseason.
Sure, but new coach. But a good coach. 17
players left. They brought in the best defender in the Canadian Premier League. I mean, no disrespect. I want no disrespect to the Canadian Premier League. I would love to come check a match out. I really, really do hope so. But come on, you know what I mean? What are we talking about here?
Better situation between Toronto and LA. That's a good question. Obviously,
LA immediately. You got Chicharito. You got Greg Vanny. You're in a better place. LA.
Yeah.
Douglas Costa is walking into a better situation. You got better players around you. Sebastian Lechet is a big loss, but I think you'll be fine. It's got to be between Toronto and Chicago as to who's in the biggest predicament.
Look, until Chicago turns things around, I'm going to have to say it's probably them. I don't know.
Yeah, but no Josie for Toronto. New coach.
Even while Josie was signed, there was no Josie because he was injured a lot. That's not.
Well,
they were
injured. You know what I mean?
Okay. What are we doing? What's this about?
What? Didn't he remember? He didn't want to play for a little bit.
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't he training back home?
There was a little tiff. I don't know.
There was a tiff.
Okay.
there was a tiff. TFC.
FC Neo Tokyo said Chicago is going to turn out to be the best, but you can't see it yet. Okay, we don't have the vision. Okay. That's the problem.
Damn. Why don't you give us an example?
Okay, but Neo Tokyo, please lay out the evidence that you have. The Dennis Higgins said Toronto is used to managing big names. Thomas says TFC has more of a track record. Yeah, it's still a new coach. We still don't know if the Bob Bradley vibes are gonna be cool. Sometimes it can be a little off-putting for some, but by all accounts, it looks like he's being very, very welcome in TFC. He just did an interview with on Futbol Americas with Sebastian Salazar and Herc Gomez, and there was a nice moment. Remember when Sebi got basically mushed by Bob after
we were there.
Right. When he was like,
the first thing Sebi Salazar did after he told him to go F off, right? Or go screw.
I forgot what was the exact quote. Maybe somebody in the chat remembers. But he essentially said, like,
he walked right up to us and he goes, "Yo, Bob Bradley just told me to go," or whatever it was that he said, and we were like, "What?" And then we were both like, "By the way, we signed with Bob Bradley. No offense, Sebi, we love you." This
was at the playoff game, LAFC Tráfico playoff game, and we were at. Okay, yeah. It was something about does Carlos Vela not show up in big games or something like that, even after they won the game.
And that's where I almost got arrested. Same game.
Right. Look, there's a lot of history. Okay, everybody.
Bro. Okay. Shouts to Manager Sandu hanging out with us talking MLS. I don't even know if you watch MLS out there.
Hope you do. Get started,
Yeah.
So
let us be your gateway drug to MLS. Mm-hmm. By the way, if you're watching, hit that like button. Come on
that's
now.
right. Yeah, please do that. Okay. What else? Oh, Douglas Costa. So I'm excited to see Douglas Costa in Major League Soccer because I do think he still has a lot to offer, and the man has the swag, has the sauce. If you look up Douglas Costa highlights, it is him just absolutely embarrassing fools in Champions League regularly. He's going to be going 1v1 on so many fullbacks. He's going to be banging in crosses probably to Chicharito. I think LA Galaxy, especially just him alone being there is going to change the team dynamically. And I think I'm very excited. Even this game, the first match for NYCFC, that's why I have the Galaxy kit up right there on NYCFC. They play their first game. The home opener for Galaxy is against NYCFC. I'm excited to see this game and seeing how Douglas Costa is going to do. I think it's going to, I wonder who's going to mark him. I imagine it might be Tavon Gray. So that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Tavon, 20 years old. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one.
Question from Joe Willock said, bigger for Atlanta, bringing in Thiago Almada or keeping Miles Robinson? Look, I'm going to go with what I'm familiar with, and I know Miles Robinson is, going to be pretty much the future of the U.S. men's national team. So I would say that's probably the bigger kind of a move or whatever. We never talked about this, but Thiago Almada had a very rocky introduction to MLS because he got signed, but there was a long investigation. There was some sort of some sort of abuse or something happened. I don't know exactly. Everything essentially was dismissed. So, but then the other thing was that he played at Velez Sarsfield, I believe, and they apparently do some sort of celebration. I guess this is at the club or in the city. I don't know. Please correct me if I don't know what I'm talking about. But I saw these back and forth. They do that when they score a goal. They do they pull their eyes back to look Asian, and they took a photo and the team posted it on their social media account excited about it. How
many mistakes in a row can you make? You know what I mean?
And obviously, as soon as the news of that Atlanta United was interested in signing him, a lot of fans were upset, absolutely just completely against it, especially after seeing that photo. It was so the response that I heard was that it's some sort of cultural thing that they do, and it's like, look, whether they know it's insensitive or not, it happened. That clearly the team was aware and they support it, and maybe this is a thing that they do. But it puts, I think fans in this like weird position, because it's like they don't want to, they don't want their club to support something like this and this kind of behavior. But then it's like I don't know how much nuance there is to it, but it was a confusing and difficult thing where some fans were like, what, stop complaining. And then some fans were like, even Asian fans were like, this is gross. We shouldn't sign this guy. And he from what I understood, he did apologize, but there's nobody can be happy. You can't make everyone happy in this situation, and not to say that he didn't do anything wrong and that the team didn't do anything wrong, but it is a strange thing, don't you think?
I think it's tough because it's hard for me not knowing what the cultural thing is. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know, but if it's got anything to do with an Asian person, yeah, you got to stop doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then you should probably, an explanation is probably due.
Michael Raymond said, cultural racism, LOL. And then Dennis Higgins said, it's okay if it's systemic, that's essentially, it's like, but the fact that the team, like that, look, I don't know what the cultures are in, like, what culturally, what's like, because some jokes, let's say it's a joke or whatever. I'm not saying that this was a joke, but within jokes, some jokes might be funny in one country and then completely insensitive and offensive in one other country, and there are cultural differences, but it's like
that town in Spain that wears like the face cover, the shroud, and a cone hat, to represent something Catholic, and everyone's like, let me tell you something. Y'all been doing this longer than some of the folks in our country have, but that doesn't necessarily represent Catholicism, so like this it doesn't feel like that. This feels like something else, but there are those moments where we look at it at a lens of what we know, and we say, well, that's offensive. How do you not know that's offensive? This feels like wearing a cone on your head could be a million things, right? Yeah. Especially if you go back millions of years. This feels like it's only one thing.
Right. There's
the thing is, can we find out why?
Yeah, because look, the internet has made the world a lot smaller, right? So we at the very least, we got to hold Argentina to the standard of you can't pull your eyes back to try to be Asian. That is an American thing. That is not a world thing. It's not a world thing.
I think we found a way where America and China agree. I think we're
shaking hands. We're on board. That can't happen. So look, he's a young kid. I don't. There's nothing that I would suggest to say like he's a horrible human being and should have no career in MLS. Clearly, the team supported it by posting something like this. So there's an institutional problem, and that should be addressed. And you would hope that this response does things for everybody in world football, that this kind of behavior won't be tolerated, because from a realistic standpoint, this is going to affect the bag, right? You want to transfer these players, you want to move them. You can't be posting wild shit like this and being like, all right,
yeah, this is trying to stop your ability to sell players.
Why can't you don't want to transfer this player to Yokohama FC? What's the problem? We didn't do anything.
Shanghai Shenzhen has a problem all of a sudden.
Wow, cancel culture coming for us again.
Wow. And by the way, to Joe Whitlock's point, he said Luis Suarez called people black in Spanish was cultural, right? Right? Look, we've talked about this. My grandmother called me that growing up. Like, there's a lot culturally that word doesn't mean. And by the way, she was black, but that word doesn't mean what it sounds like. But it's when you don't shake the dude's hand, you all of a sudden take away any of that nuance. You know what I mean?
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but now I'm just giving you.
I was trying to help you, bro.
I'm just giving you a lot of doubt. That's all I have left.
I'm mad at my grandmother, bro.
I'm out here just doubting that you're not a racist. That's all. Okay, the other, so we mentioned Atlanta United. I did want to bring this up because Atlanta United just signed a new striker. You may have heard of this man, Dwyer, who we've interviewed in the past. Go listen to that podcast. If
Wait,
you have
what
not.
City is he from?
What? Whoa! I didn't see this.
Wow!
Hold up! Hold up!
Wow!
What city? This changes everything, bruh.
Wow! I didn't even know there was like a field of them.
I didn't know.
Wow! For those of you listening, I'm not making this up.
I didn't know there was a city in England based on what I enjoy. I'm kidding.
Just him and his homie.
Me and the homie. This is Dwyer. The new player for Atlanta United is from Cuckfield, England.
That's right. You heard correctly. Cuckfield, England. Wow. Back when, the Anglo-Saxons were storming onto this island and naming towns. I don't think they knew in the future what this term, who named this town? Just the dude who really, was not a jealous type.
Okay. I'm not trying to restrain her from living her life. Okay. And from living her truth.
Bro, in fact, we should all be sharing, right? all of our trappings.
Lou D in the chat saying, Cuckfield, stand up. Okay.
Up the cucks.
Nick Red said Cuckfield United FC is
we love you, Cuckfield.
We do.
We love you, Cuckfield. We do. We love you, Cuckfield.
We do. Oh, Cuckfield, we love you. That's Trevor Walter said, that's a lot of testicles. I mean obstacles. Man. So Dom Dwyer. I mean, we couldn't let that slide, obviously. But Dom Dwyer signing for Atlanta.
Into the DMs.
For Atlanta United. Obviously, his last club was was Toronto. He didn't play too much over there, but he was obviously with Orlando City before that.
Crimson Pizza. I'm not reading your comment, but hilarious. So
obviously,
Thomas said Dom's favorite NBA team is the Bulls.
Yes. Love it.
This show, week 1 of being independent, we are so close to being taken off most platforms. This has been absolutely amazing. For everyone who's listening and for everyone who's watching, we're so happy to be back.